Hey, BATT Family! Welcome to episode...
Something.
25? 30?
No, this won't be 25. This
will be
will
30
either
or
be
35.
30 or 35. Regardless, this will be out at some point. We're sitting here at Gen Con.
Yes.
Also, hi, Scott.
Hey, Mark.
And hi, Friendo.
Hey.
So we have my good friend Derian sitting here. Derian, say hi again.
Hi.
How you doing? No, we're here because, A, we're just around all the people that we love. Like we said, it's Gen Con, so we're in a hotel room. It's going to be slightly more echoey. But Derian brought up a top 10 list he wanted to do. And so here we are.
Now, how do you guys know each other?
So we've known each other since I started with Stonemeyer in 2019. And what were we?
So this was Gen Con.
Yes.
So for reference, I've lost count of how many Gen Cons I've been to.
This would have been the year Wingspan came out.
Yes. I've been like 20 to 22 or 24 Gen Cons. Went to it twice in Milwaukee, and I've gone to it, I believe, just about every time it's been in Indy.
Nice.
So we met because you were on booth staff. Mm-hmm. I had worked, I think, so 2019 would have been the first year that Jamie did not come to Gen Con. So that was the year that I effectively took over as the lead GM for all of the Stonemeyer Meeple Source events.
And that was the year that everybody went crazy about birds. And so Which
is so funny because I sit there and think about that. Right. That year was the year I was like, why the heck would I buy a bird game?
That's the way everybody was. And all of a sudden we were out of birds on like Friday. It was a real problem. Especially for you guys because we couldn't sell it after you hadn't played it. And we've just been, I would say, just genuinely friends since then. We talk all throughout the year. We don't get to interact very often even though we're just on opposite sides of the state essentially.
For this year, for the first time, we have seen each other outside of Gen Con.
It's true.
And that was at Cabin Con.
And Cabin Con was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. We do that. We have our thing that I have started affectionately calling Qdoba Nightmare.
When is that?
Qdoba Nightmare Theater.
That's right.
It was originally emotionally abusive Mexican.
That's true. Because, as it turns out, the Thursday night of Gen Con, the Qdoba, not far away from the convention center, is essentially a post-apocalyptic wasteland, which has been, I think, most wonderfully summed up by a manager as we open the door and it dings. She yells, "I don't know what you want, but we don't have it." And that was really the high water mark. Everything has really been done.
But Gen Con, every restaurant is crazy busy. There's no line there. There's no wait. It's a place that you can go.
There may be no dining room, as it turns out.
Or chips.
For the matter of time, there is not enough of a pause in there. But my God, we have some stories from that place. We were talking to one of your GMs earlier. She's like, "Yeah, I went to a Chinese place and they were out of rice and tea." It's like, how do you run out of tea?
Right?
So that's really the foundational backbone of our friendship is just enjoying the theater of how upset these restaurant owners get because
that's part of it. There's also a lot of late night gaming. So a lot of the GMs that work for me at Gen Con will go ahead and do a lot of gaming after hours. So there's just a lot of fun. You know, you've kind of burnt yourself out for the day, going ahead and just aggressively teaching all sorts of games, and then just to be able to kind of turn your brain off a little bit and just kind of mellow out and play something and not worry about are the people that I'm trying to teach this to engage. Because when I'm teaching it to my friends, I kind of care, but I don't care as much as when you're like hoping to...
When it's nighttime Gen Con, we are here because we don't want to be separate yet, but we're here for a game, I guess.
So, a little background before we get to the list. So, in episode 22, they did the mechanics shop.
Yeah.
And Mark had talked about bringing me on sometime in the past, and I never really had that aha moment, like, I want to talk about this.
Okay.
And then I heard the mechanics shop, and I immediately, I don't think I was even done with the episode. I was out walking the dogs, listening to it, and I heard the mechanics shop, and it was like, you need to have me on, because I need to talk about the mechanic simultaneous action selection, because I love that mechanic.
You're an efficiency and process guy, and it just speaks to you.
Yeah, so I'm a software engineer, so the power of parallel processing with computer programs, I help go ahead and organize work for a company, help optimize the flow of our software engineers. So just the efficiency of mechanism makes sense to me. Additionally, you guys tend to play a lot of 2 to 4 player games. Mm-hmm. My group is almost always 4 to 6 players.
Sure.
And I have one guy who has analysis paralysis. And so the amount of time that it just takes to get through a game is just that much longer. So when you have games games that have that everyone is going through some thinky bits at the exact same time, you can optimize it by going, and that shortening that game means you can get more games in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're welcome, because it was my idea.
Yeah, no, it was a great idea. And so if you remember, or maybe you haven't heard it yet, depends on which order we decide to release these episodes, the list with Jen was logical deduction games. I had a very hard time making that list. Like, making 10 was a challenge for me. My starter for this was something on the order of 30, 35 games. So
See,
it was...
And this one took me longer.
This one took me a lot longer to cut down to what I felt were the best 10.
Wow.
So, well, I mean, we're already in it, so let's keep talking. Because I will say, when it came to my list, what I was focusing on with simultaneous action was this is the major mechanism that is going to drive the gameplay itself. It's not just an aspect or it's leading to some other kind of turn order. It is the driving moment of what makes the game the game. So that means that I cut off drafting games because that essentially in most cases is the game. And that mechanism, the fact that simultaneous play is in there just kind of...
Happenstance?
It's inherent to it, yeah. And I took off bidding games because, again, like, the bidding is simultaneous in some games, but not all. But it's not normally what is driving the action. The action is the bidding. And then I also took off X and right games because most of the time it is, we're going to roll some dice, we're going to flip some cards, whatever, and then it's going to lead to a selection of us all simultaneously that most of them then go back to use player rules. So I really avoided those three categories because it was, if I'm doing this action, what is it driving along?
I have a little bit of those in mind. Generally, I was looking for games that just really, really benefit and really just play a lot faster than some of their contemporaries because they have organized the rules in such a way. So I do have 2 drafting games, 1 roll and write.
Sure.
But it was really more about getting to these games play really efficiency with large player groups specifically.
Did you consider stuff like flock mode for Wingspan of it's a way to play a lower player count game simultaneously like that, or Mystic Vale or anything? Or are you looking at main games on them?
I looked at main games on their own, main play mode, and I don't think I included any expansions in any of this.
Okay.
This was a harder one for me because I don't play a ton of simultaneous action games. So like the first 5 was kind of like how I did it with Jen. So depending when you listen, it's a similar thing of like, here's some very simple, easy beginner games that I feel are easy enough. And then the last 5 will be the ones that I enjoy the most.
Sure. Scott, number 10.
So someone already stole it because my number 10 is Broom Service. Usually I go like, I totally agree.
Ironically, you will not have heard why he's laughing about this because it's in the honorable mentions. You'll hear that in an odds and ends episode sometime in the future.
Broom Service is one of those games that I feel it's not overly difficult personally. And this was done in 2015.
By Alexander Pfister.
Yes.
It also won the Kennerspiel des Jahres of that year.
Yeah. Running around trying to pick up ingredients and doing everything simultaneously and hoping that no one else has done those actions is the basis that Broom Service has. It's played over 7 rounds, 4 turns each round. It was one of those that we played it with Natalie, and I remember she cussed me out once because I happened to just do the same thing that she wanted to do, so I kind of blocked some stuff. But in that, it's a nice, simple game. I don't have it in my collection. I don't think you have it in your collection anymore.
No, I got rid of it.
And I think it's a great building block. It's not as simple as some of my other games that are on the list that are higher up on my list, but if you want a little bit more meat to the game.
Yeah, it has this really interesting card follow system where if somebody plays a card, then everybody else at the table, if they have a card...
It's not the follow. When you first play it, you must announce, I am the brave herb gatherer.
Right.
Or I am the cowardly herb gatherer. If you play cowardly, you get the immediate benefit.
Yes.
If you play brave, you have to wait and see if anyone follows you, and then you have to know whether or not they are playing brave as well. If they play brave, you do not get anything for that card.
Thank you for that explanation. That's a lot cleaner than I was going to get to. And that's why I don't like the game. Because if you announce brave, if anybody follows you, especially if they're in last player position, they will pick brave and you will get nothing. It is very easy to just totally skunk somebody in the game by, we just happen to have the same card.
Yeah.
You played it and I decided, you know what, you're not going to get anything.
Not always, because if you play brave, now you're leading the next round.
Yeah.
and you are setting it up where they can turn around and do the exact same thing to you. So sometimes, if I don't need that benefit from playing Brave, I will play Cowardly to follow someone because I don't need, that extra point or two. I would much rather let them lead the next card. But what's really interesting is if you're not leading the round, when you are picking your 4 cards out of those 10, you don't know the order that they are going to come out in. So if you need to gather something before you deliver it, then you run into the problem where someone else may deliver. Now you can't go ahead and collect before that deliver comes up.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you are playing this game with a much different group of people than I did, because I just found it was always, we're just going to screw you over. I think it totally makes sense for the list, but I really dislike this game.
This was a list that was harder for me to get because
Sure.
I don't play a lot of this. It took me so long to get my 10 because I literally had to go through everything. I went through every single page that's on BGG.
So the reason I am so prepared to talk about this game is because it is also my number 10.
Beautiful. I had a feeling that's why you were going into.
Because I adore this game. The reason why I have it as low as I do on my list, have you played this with Clarky?
No, but I know he would probably have some issues.
So this game, especially for a Kennerspiel winner,
Is not accessible. I didn't even think about it.
So it's a dumb mistake that they made because some of the towers you can deliver to multiple times, and they are round. Mm-hmm. Some of the towers you can only deliver to once, and they are square. And the way that you know what color of potion you can deliver to it is based on the roof of that tower. Mm-hmm. And it is purple, green, and orange.
Yeah, I would totally screw him.
And if you have played with someone who's colorblind, they can't see that. And the fact that they also have arrows on the board to denote whether it is a multi-deliver tower or a single deliver tower. They could have just as easily changed the shape of those towers to encode the color into the game and relied on those arrows for the multi or single delivery.
Because you could have made them into like windows on the tower or something, yeah. I have a lot of issues with Alexander Pfister and his design choices because he has some very politely questionable themes. Mombasa, but he also just says like, I don't really care about what it gets themed, and I don't really care about colors and all that, and so he's been negative enough that I'm like, I'm just gonna write your games off. That's totally fine for me.
I mean, part of me being a process guy is also being a mechanics guy, and that I don't care about the theme nearly as much as you guys do.
That's true.
So I'm okay with that in a lot of cases. Accessibility is not theme.
No, it is not.
No, it's not.
And especially because it's such a small fix that could have been made. And honestly, it could even be made on a reprinting. I'm still just shocked that they haven't adjusted it yet.
Again, totally understand why it's on both of your lists. It came up, and I certainly looked at it like, but I don't like the game, so it's not going to make the list.
Yeah.
But I totally get it.
Yeah, but that's why I put it in my beginning part of my list. So what is yours?
So my number 10, admittedly, is in this spot because I think the simultaneous selection is very important at the top of the round. And then it kind of just falls into that turn order. But the way you do the simultaneous selection in Smartphone Inc. is so friggin' interesting. I am amazed that the only game that has stolen this is the remake of Mobile Markets, but I haven't played Mobile Markets enough to have put this on the list, even though I actually think I like that game better. In Smartphone Inc., you have these 2 pads that have all kinds of symbols on them, and the way you make your choice at the beginning of the round, and you are all doing this is a simultaneous, you're hidden behind screens, on the table, however you want to do it, is you are not allowed to perfectly overlay them. So you have to have at least one symbol per thing being covered available. Otherwise, that is where you're setting how much you're producing, it's how much your cost is, it is all variety of things. It's such a cool game, but admittedly, once you do this pad selection, it turns into a standard turn order economic game. In your particular case, this game actually is much, much better with 5, like 5 flat. If you are playing with lower counts, the expansion is very, very good for it. But as a base box 5-player game, especially for the way that works, because the turn structure is such that you just kind of flow from one thing to the next, and there's a really good phase tracker on the board itself. I think it's really brilliant. Yes, the player interaction directly until you get into the sales phase later is a little lower than I would like, but the way the selection is done single-handedly puts them on this list for me. This was Yvon Lachine who did this. He did Mobile Markets, and he did my new just obsession of Neo Dreams. I love Neo Dreams.
Yeah. Very nice.
In full disclosure, one of the realizations that I had in going ahead and pushing to record this episode is, man, I'm going to have Mark go ahead and list off a whole bunch of games that I really am going to need to check out because it fits the mechanic that I love.
Oh, you will be all about smartphone.
Smartphone's nice.
Look up the pictures of the game. It's Arcane Wonders. It is gorgeous production, and it is, okay, you're in Phase 2. Here's the Phase 2 on the board. Set the prices.
When did
Here's
that release?
2018.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
And the reimplementation of mobile markets, it turned into just a more strict card game, was 2021.
Okay.
Number 9.
I chose number 9 because I can think of no better game to have as simultaneous action, as a party game, than out-of-the-box production 1999 Apples to Apples. It is considered simultaneous action. If somehow you don't know Apples to Apples, of course, the judge for the round is grabbing an adjective, and everybody else is handing nouns. It's one of those fun things that, depending on how many people you're playing, if you're playing with your good friend group, you can come up with your own house rules.
It's the Big Bang Theory game.
Yes.
It's Cards Against Humanity. It's
Yes.
Know Your Meme. It's all this mechanism.
And the fact that it's versatile enough that you can flip it and play a noun and then have adjectives be thrown. It's one of those funny things because we'd always notice that in our group, depending on what adjectives were said, be like, yeah, of our group, yeah, you are the most naive. It would just kind of be funny, those adjectives that we would give those other people, the other players at the table, were like, why does this work so well? Why did it just, you got that one and not so-and-so? Which is always one of those funny little interactions. But yeah, Apples to Apples.
What's your number 9?
It's one of your favorite games.
Cool.
We've already talked about it tonight.
God, I hate this game so much.
It won the Kennerspiel in 2018.
Shouldn't have.
Wow. It's Quacks of Quedlinberg.
Burn that game.
Oh my god. Okay, love that game because I have stupid luck.
You know what I don't?
Have stupid luck?
Yeah.
I tend to have normal to slightly decayed luck, and certainly...
You did not believe me.
That is
and
true.
then we went through that game.
That is true. And seeing Michael go ahead and dig through their bag, and they decided to stop, and they weren't even at 4 yet.
I know.
So they were not at the point where a tile could kill them. And they were like, oh, I don't have anything left in my bag, so I'm done. And we're both looking because we're used to counting to 7. And it's like, you're not in range yet. You need to just keep yanking out of that bag.
Yep. I don't know how they did it. I legitimately, to this day, do not know how they did it. To give the framework on it, it's 2018. This is Wolfgang Warsch, and it is a push your luck game where you are playing simultaneously because you are pulling out of your bag. And unless you want to do basically what Derian does of every once in a while of Mark, have you busted yet? And he will stop to see what I'm doing or if I busted, then you just go until you choose to stop. It is very much absolutely simultaneous play.
Oh, I'm not asking because I need to make a decision. I'm asking to check on you.
Problem is, we started playing again. I will never play this game again. I hate this game so much.
And the answer is yes, he has busted.
Yes, that is the answer.
Of course he's busted. Why are you asking dumb questions?
You watched me bust twice in the same round because I was able to mulligan it, and I busted faster.
That was impressive.
I hate this game.
And that was near the end of the game.
It was the last round.
When your bag is
it's like
very,
50
very
chips
full
deep. I know.
of other things that you could have drawn. And we were playing with the Geek Up bits, which are the improved ones, and so
they didn't have rough edges or anything
yeah,
they mixed really.
You sound upset.
You have PTSD from Captain Sonar.
Yeah,
I have it from this stupid game. I hate this game.
I gotta say, part of making this list was the joy of being able to pick a particular piece of poison for both of you.
You're terrible. All right, so my number 9 is unfortunately not a game for you because it is a 2-player only game. Wow, it is from 2015. This is very upsetting. This game is 10 years old. The game is Raptor from the Brunos, Fiduti and Catala. And I love what Catala does. Fiduti I can take or leave most of the time. But it was one of the earliest games I'd seen with Vincent Dutray art. And it is so stinking good because you have one player that is acting as the Raptors. And your goal is to basically get your Raptor babies off the board and make sure the humans aren't capturing or killing you, putting you to sleep, that type of stuff. The humans on the other side, they are simply trying to capture the raptor babies, put the mother to sleep so that way you can get done what you need to get done. The way the game works is you have a hand of cards that ranges from 1 to 9. And whoever plays the lower card gets to use the effect of the card. And so the two players, since they have asymmetric goals, have asymmetric decks. But the difference of the played cards, so if I played a 1, I'm going to use my ability. If Derian played is 4, he gets 3 action points. And those action points are going to be used for moving or capturing or running or doing whatever your side is. And so there is this really wonderful, actually push your luck element, because if you tie, both the cards are tossed and nothing happens. And so it's this idea of my 8 has an incredible ability on it. Chances of the 8 being lower than the 9 are very bad. So where do I think I can math this out? Am I just wasting the 8 for just being an 8 and I think they're going to play 2 and just make a bunch of action points? Or do I think I can actually get this power off? There's some delicious decision making in this. Honestly, the reason I don't have the game anymore is because I've never lost it. And I've played both sides. For some reason, this game clicks perfectly in my head. It's phenomenal. If it were even a 4-player, like a 2-player team game, it'd be up your alley. But as a 2-player only game, Derian, I know that you just don't have that play count. Mm-hmm. But man alive, is this game good.
It sounds interesting.
You never played it?
Nope.
I don't think you would. I think you would be all about it. I don't think you would.
Like I said, it sounds interesting. Yeah, but I don't think it would be something I would play.
So one quick note.
Yes.
I've heard that ding now. As a 1.25x listener, it's still very jarring to hear it in actual speed as opposed to the faster tempo that I am just trained to hear it in.
That's really funny. Scott, your number 8.
Do I need to talk faster so that your 1.25 speed is almost can barely understand me?
Oh, please don't. I have to edit that.
One of the things that I really, really enjoy, and the reason why this game, it's on my list because it is perfect for beginners with the simultaneous action selection. Plus, I just like ancient history when you're dealing with ancient civilizations, and so that's why the 2010 game from Repos Productions of Seven Wonders is on my list. It's not a great game.
It's not.
But like I said, the first 5 are,
sure,
here's your introduction to a mechanism, go from there.
Sure.
In the game, you're picking cards, and you're trying to make sure you can do a little bit of set collection so that you can get points for your sciences. I'm trying to build a big enough army so that you can beat up all your people that are next to you. Yeah, it's just one of those that I've really, really enjoyed. In fact, even Seven Wonders Architects I've really enjoyed as well.
Well, and one of the fun things with the armies is for the armies specifically, you're not going against the whole table. You're just playing against your neighbors.
You have that same thing for the resource usage too.
Correct.
It does play really well for a whole table because you are only looking at your immediate neighbors.
Yeah. Well, and when you're playing a 6-player game, you run into this weird scenario where, like, there's this one hot spot of combat, like, on the other side of the table from you, and the 3 of them are really just going at it and drafting out, and sometimes hate drafting so that the other player can't take it.
Yeah, you hear that yell across the table, like, don't give them the science token.
So science tokens, certainly there's some hate drafting, because that's where you're going for the set collection, and where someone can really just run away with the game if you let them.
Yeah.
And I find that it's interesting because just depending on what your neighbors are doing, it's a different experience, and it has some weird dynamics there. Mm-hmm. You have to be very aware of the wonder that your neighbors are building, because, like, if they're building the wonder that gives them resources, then they're not going to be buying many resources from you, if at all. And so there's a lot of hyper-awareness of just your 2 neighbors. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be as fully aware of the whole table. You'll do better if you do, but certainly it's nice to get someone into it. It also plays phenomenally at 7 players, which a lot of games simply do not.
100%.
It's also the Kenner Spiel des Jahres from 2011.
Uh-oh, it's been on his list.
So, is this also your number 8?
It is not my number 8.
Okay.
But it is on his list.
So I will say, I think base Seven Wonders is a better game than I like to give it credit for, but I am still stuck in that moment of everybody at all moments of every single time I was watching people play games were just playing Seven Wars. Like, it was everywhere where I was, and I could not escape it. And what's crazy is I was never able to get in on it, and so I didn't play the game for the first time until like 2017, something like that. But I was just like, oh my god, how is this game this addictive? And then I played it, I'm like, I don't get it. And I've played it since, and it's fine. Mm-hmm. I think Seven Wonders Duel is better, but it's still not great. And I think Architects is just a horrendous implementation of the system. I actively think that is a bad game.
That version I almost like better than Seven Wonders.
But base Seven Wonders, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Like I said, first 5 games. What you got for your number 8?
So my number 8 is my oldest game on the list. It is the Spiel des Jahres from 2005.
Okay.
It is Niagara.
Never played it.
Wow. Oh my god.
The designer on this is
I cannot
Thomas
believe
Leisham.
you pulled out Niagara. Like, I think you were the only person in the world to talk about this game in 2025. All right,
Probably.
keep going, sorry.
The publisher was Rio Grande. It's currently out of print. Would be fun if they went ahead and brought it back. One of the neat mechanisms of it is when you set up the board, you flip over the boxes and you lay the board across the top of it because you need to have falls off the side of the boxes. So you are on the river, you need to paddle down the river to go ahead and collect gems, and then paddle back up the river. The simultaneous selection of it is that everyone has tokens with the numbers 1 through 6, and then they have a rain cloud. And the number that you play is how far you move.
Okay.
And you're revealing your number one at a time, so when you move, you don't know what everyone else has played. At the end of the round, the river moves the same as the lowest card that anyone played. And there's a slight modifier in there. It can be modified, I think, down -1 or up to +2 based on the rain cloud.
Okay.
As a result, first time playing, everyone pretty much hops into the water way too aggressively and paddles downstream. And then the river flows and it pushes them down significantly farther. And then you're trying to grab a gem, but then you're also having to play your higher numbers to try to get back out of the water. Only now everyone else is trying to play their higher numbers to get back out of the water.
So then
the
everything
river
slides
is
back
flowing
down.
faster. It does fork for the last couple spaces, so if you're down near the bottom, you're not having to fight the full force of the water, but there is definitely some of those mechanisms involved. It plays light, it's one that you can play with your kids. Mm-hmm. It's certainly one that you can kind of mess with people by going ahead and getting that river to flow a little bit faster. Very fun game.
I think it's a fun pull because it's a game that has not aged well in a lot of people's estimations. And so hearing something positive like this, because, it's been years, probably around that, 7 Wonders time that I last played it. It's been forever. But, man, what a pull. I appreciate that. So my number 8, I have played a ton of this on Board Game Arena, and it is a phenomenal game. The game is from 2019. It is from Benjamin Schwer. This is Hadara. And Hadara, you have a pentagonal board in front of you. I actually do like it best with 5 players. And you are going to be rotating the board because there are 5 colors of cards. You have yellow, which is culture, red is military, blue is pottery or something, I forget. And then you have green, which are your farmers, and then purple cards are wild and they have special effects and whatever. This is very much a drafting set collection, let's push some tracks game. Because what you're going to do is you are going to have a deck of cards of whatever the colors in front of you, and you are going to pull 2 cards from it. In each age, you have a different set of cards, but you are going to choose to keep one in your hand and one to throw down to the discard pile. Kind of like Biblios, but you're doing both actions at once. Then you are going to choose with the card in hand, what am I going to do with it? Am I going to buy it and add it into my tableau, which is going to contribute to pushing tracks up? It's also going to contribute to some of that set collection stuff. There's some mid-round and end-of-game bonuses that can score based on your positions on these tracks. Or you can just sell it and it's just gone. You get money for it, it's out. Then once you have completed the first half of each age, you are going to go to that pile of cards like Biblios, and now you are going to rotate them in front of everybody, and you are going to choose off of the top card of the deck that other people chose to not buy initially. Do I want to buy it? Do I want to sell it here? It is so good. Guys, it is so good. It has a hideous cover. There's no good cover, first or second edition. They're very bad. The art is fine, but that mechanism of everybody doing a draft, but also knowing that what I am not picking will show up later, and it may, in fact, probably not show up for me. So you are picking somebody else's choices. Really, really neat game. Really love this. I need to get a copy of it. But the problem that I've had and why I've resisted doing it is I like it best at 5. It's good at 4. It's fine at 2 and 3. But that 4 or 5 player count is so stinking good.
Sounds interesting.
I think you would like it. I think you would actually really like it a lot too. Number 7.
Number 7 for me, I was introduced to this game as a fun card game to It unfortunately can sometimes be a little bit of a take that game where you are simply just playing cards and hoping to not match anybody else on the board, because it's the 2007 game from Robot Martini and then of course Asmodee, and it's Get Bit. The game was first released, it was a shark and pirates, and that you actually, if you had the deluxe, you could actually have stickers to put on your little guy, because what happens is if you happen to be the lowest person of the line, so like we all play cards simultaneously, and you go from lowest to highest. So like 4s go, they move to the front of the line, then 5s get to move to the front of the line, then 7s get to move to the front of the line. But if you play a 5 and you play a 5, neither of you move, your position doesn't change, and we continue along with the thing, and everyone else still moves forward. And the person who's in the back of the line gets bit by the shark. And what was so fun was the body parts popped off, and you kept going until you were nothing more than a torso and a head. And the bad part about the game, and we discussed it one other time, was the fact that when you immediately have the 2, the shark gets extra hungry and just eats the person that's in the back end of the line, so you actually don't have a chance to get through. So literally when you're playing with 3 people, the moment that the last leg, they're gone, and they eat the second person.
It's a shame because the intelligence of the game just disappears. It's, you were unlucky enough to be in second this time. It doesn't matter what cards you play, you just lose.
Yeah, the shark.
It's a real shame because the actual course of the gameplay itself through the rounds, and again, you want to play with more players because more chances of interacting and getting nailed and all those things. There's some really neat ideas that I just feel like that ending it's such a letdown because it's just, wait a minute, so there's we're just done?
Yeah.
It's a real bummer.
Yeah, you went, I really enjoyed this until this moment.
Yeah.
The other nice little mechanic is that when everybody has moved and the shark has bit somebody, that last person now flies up to the front, and they get to pack up all their cards, while everyone else who didn't get bit is still working with whatever they have left. So that means you now have, even though yes, you got bit, you now have more power. You can sit and be like, cool, I already know everybody played their 8, so this 8 is safe, so I'm going to hold on to this for just a little bit longer. I'm going to play a 6. Because
you can also sit there and be, I'm in first right now, so I'm not going to move, but I'm also not going to go in last because I can see what cards you've played in front of you.
Yep.
Derian hasn't played a 6, so guess what card I'm going to play right now to make sure Derian gets bit.
Yeah.
There's some really neat interaction.
Yes.
The game can be absolutely mean. And the new theme is fun.
It's bath toys.
It's very fun.
It's a toy shark.
Great production.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to pop the limbs off and do stuff. But I wish the end of the game was as satisfying as the rest.
Yeah, and
because I think the game also goes on just a hair too long.
I would agree. But yeah, when you sit there and you're down to the last couple people, it's like, well, why couldn't you just sit there and be like, okay, who's playing the higher one? Who's playing the lower one? Okay, you played the lower one. Cool. But it's fun. What you got?
So I couldn't resist for my number 7 going for 7 Wonders.
Okay, nice.
See all my prior comments.
And this one to me was, I believe, the first game that hit me that really played well at 7 players. Because occasionally you have that group that is 7 players, and it's like, what am I going to play with this many people?
Right.
Most games isn't just a party game.
Yeah, that is still going to have some nice strategic and tactical meat there. And this was that game. And I understand exactly why it was as big as it was. And it was just definitely a lot of fun.
So my number 7 is a game that takes 2 other games that I really dislike, puts them together, and turns it into something, especially when you're playing co-op, which does require an expansion, unfortunately, into something I adore. And that's Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. I really dislike Terraforming Mars. I call it Terraforming Boredom on the regular. I have many complaints with the game. Race for the Galaxy, I think, is an incredible game that I am not on par with the people that love that game. The people that know Race for the Galaxy, I have watched a 2-player game be done in 15 minutes. They can fly in that game. In Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, or as it is more commonly called, just Ares Expedition, you are going to have that same idea of terraforming Mars. You are trying to fill in the oceans, you are trying to oxygenate with trees, you are trying to terraform and bring up the heat level, all that. If you're playing in the Crisis expansion, you're actually trying to prevent all that from degrading. It's a really fun inversion of theme. But the way this one works is you have your hand of cards, and just like Race for the Galaxy, galaxy. If you play the card, then the phase is going to happen. And everybody gets to take part in whatever the phase is. If you're the person that played the card, then you get the extra special power, whereas everybody else only gets half the action, essentially. This is the way I like my push your luck of, do I think they're going to do this? Because, okay, I'm pretty sure they're going to do a profit phase right now, which means that I could do a growth phase and I can still make both things happen. And then somebody else has the same thought and then nobody makes the profit phase happen. So there's some really interesting push and pull on it. And it takes a theme that I love of space and terraforming and all that. It reduces that boredom that I find in the Big Brother game because the game is just simply faster. It's still long. Like, don't go in thinking it's going to be a shorter game. It's still an hour and a half to 2.5 hours sometimes. It can be long, but I really like the way it works. I really like that it uses that Race for the Galaxy system, but I don't have to know all the symbols, because that is what just kills me in Race for the Galaxy, is learning the symbology and understanding why certain planets work better for certain situations, all the things. It's a great game. I know it's very divisive of, do you like Big Brother or do you like this one better? I have heard nobody pick the Roll for the Galaxy, or not Roll for the Galaxy. I actually like Roll better than Race, but the Terraforming Mars dice game, I've heard nobody say anything positive about that. This one I really love.
So I'm actually a much bigger fan of the Big Brother game, Terraforming Mars. And to me, part of it is, when I'm thinking simultaneous action selection, I'm thinking of games that I can like just play fast.
Sure.
And every time I've played Ares Expedition, it's just been like, man, like with like another 30 minutes, I could have gotten in a full game of the Big Brother game. Like, I didn't save enough time playing the light version.
I think that's an entirely fair criticism. I just don't like the big one, so that's why I'm good with spending the time here, because I get what I want from the big one in this.
I can see that.
Number 6.
Number 6 for me, this will be a little bit different. It is probably one of my favorite trivia games. It is the game Bezzerwizzer, which means know-it-all. In Bezzerwizzer, you are pulling tiles from a bag. You pull 4. There are 4 different categories. There's 20 categories. So if you have a full table, that is 16 of those 20 being pulled at the same time. And you are putting them in order of, what do you think you know the most and what do you think you know the least of? You put them on your own board, 1 through 4, and then you lock it in. Once everybody has locked it in, if I see that Mark has, we'll just say that there actually is a category for board games, and of course he put it in his 4 spot, I have the ability to go swap, and I sit there and I play my token for swapping. I take his board games. I then have to put it on my spot, and I have to give him my 4. So you have to literally go same for same. So wherever he put that, I have to take it from him and take it. But of course, then I've given him what my number 4 is, and who knows if that is his thing that he's really, really good at. And you basically will score, you're racing around a board. It's who can get around the board once first. So if you get a perfect round, that's 10 spaces that you. But I've only done that a couple times. But no, simultaneous action and trivia, okay, I'm in. You also have the Bezzerwizzer tile, which is, if you don't know your question and I happen to know it, I can go Bezzerwizzer and I can steal it from you and get your movement out of it. But yeah, we haven't talked a lot of trivia games here on the podcast, so the fact that I found one that works well with simultaneous action, I was like, yay!
It was your way to sneak it in.
Yeah, Bezzerwizzer.
My number 6 is Roll for the Galaxy.
Okay.
Okay.
I really like Roll for the Galaxy. I'm very bad at it, but I really like the game.
I find that I'm definitely not as good at it as I am as Race for the Galaxy, but I definitely enjoy it. And part of it is the kind of weight of some of your decisions. As an example, like when you build something big, your dice now, they're exhausted, you have to reacquire them, you probably don't have the money to go ahead and be able to get them right away. So it's definitely a weighty choice, and now you have to go ahead and spend usually a turn and maybe even 2 to kind of recover from that. The theming of all of the different colors of dice, so that the military dice are good at development and settlements. It's a lot of fun. It's always, trying to pick out those tiles out of the bag. That one of the pain points for me is always that those tiles are double-sided. There's a development on one side and a settlement on the other. So that means that I could never have both of these out at the same time, because there's a mutual exclusion there.
So it's interesting looking at your list so far of you have a lot of luck elements and especially push your luck elements in these, but they're used in really strong ways, except for Quacks, because screw that game. But what I do like about Roll for the Galaxy is when you're sitting there, okay, I don't have the strongest hand of dice in front of me. I really want this. But it's that same thing as Ares Expedition. But you know what? I have these 4 extra dice. I'm going to set them on this action, and Derian should trigger that action. Oh no, he didn't, and all those dice are gone.
They are back in your cup.
They're
not spent.
But they still have that moment of, oh no, I was banking on a turn I'm not getting. It does have some really fun tension because of the way that simultaneous action does come out.
Yes.
So my number 6 is one we've talked about quite a bit on the podcast this year. It's come up a lot. I have a couple of these, admittedly. And what we learned at Cabin Con is the game is terrible at 6. Really good at the other player counts. It's really terrible at 6. This is the 2023 game from Johan Gubi and Corentin Lebras. This is Faraway. I love Faraway. It is the second lightest game on my list, but that idea of I'm just going to pick my number and am I going to go up so that way I can get one of the sanctuary cards, or am I going to go down and reset myself so that way I can try and also get a card in line? You are always watching what your opponents are doing, and because there's not a ton of information going on out there, you are still able to look and be like, okay, I think he wants this. I don't want to hate draft, but maybe it is better for me. So there's some really interesting choices there. This is one that I struggled to put on the list because I was wondering, does it turn into we do the thing and then we stop having the interaction? But I really think because of watching as the other tableaus work, because the game is so fast, I couldn't reasonably ignore this one because it is that moment of, okay, who's going to be first? Flip all the cards over. Oh, no, it's Scott. I know he's going to take the card that I need. I like that turn angst, that turn tension. I love Faraway. Just not with 6. It's very bad with 6.
Yeah, 6 is rough. Great game, though. I was not expecting to enjoy that game as much as I've enjoyed that game.
Same. Absolutely same.
We are sponsored by our great friends over at Grand Gamers Guild. Located not terribly far away from us in Grand Rapids, Michigan, they are a publisher that specializes not only in bringing enjoyment across the complexity spectrum to your table, but making sure that international releases are also finding the ability to be played here in the US as well. Grand Gamers Guild is happy to announce the restock of Tir na Nog, its brand new expansion, Blessings and Burdens, and the new 18 Escape Journey to Tir na Nog, as well as the entirety of the Holiday Hijinks series in the Holiday Hijinks Master Detective Collection. All of these projects have been successfully delivered to backers worldwide, and that means that you can now order all of them directly from their website, grandgamersguild.com. Also, keep in mind that in support of us, they're offering a referral code to kick back to Board All the Time. So head over to grandgamersguild.com, pick up your Holiday Hijinks, pick up your Tir na Nog, and use discount code BATT10, that's BATT10, and you'll make sure that we're supported and you let them know that we sent you. Thank you again so much to Grand Gamers Guild.
All right, number 5.
This next one you're not going to agree with.
Cool. I hate Quacks.
I would have spoke on Quacks more than what I did. No, because I have talked about this game and this pair of games for quite some time. And my number 5 game is Gloomhaven and Frosthaven.
Sure.
From 2017 to 2022, Cephalofair games. You're playing a character and you're doing a dungeon delve and you have a goal, you have battle goals and you have personal goals and the mission goals and all this stuff. But you have a hand of cards, and your hand of cards counts as your hit points, and you all pick at the same time. You pick 2 cards. Your top card that you flip over, that is your speed. The bottom card is the other actions that you have options to do, and you do the top action of one and the bottom action of the other, and based on where everybody falls, because you're all going at the same time going, and I'm going 19. Oh, well, you're going 17. Oh, good. The wolves are going 6. That always happens.
I intentionally excluded games like this because you're right, I don't like the Havens. But my issue with this as the mechanism is that all it's doing is setting turn order.
Right.
And so when I looked, I'm like, that's not enough simultaneous action for
Which
me
I
to
understand.
put this on the list. I also just hate this. It's like you can't talk to each other. It's your health system. It's all the things that I don't like about the Havens.
We don't do that rule. Be like, how fast are you going? I'm like, I'm at least going the legal speech.
Yeah, it's It has that really annoying Shadows over Camelot of, I can do a little, I can do a lot. I have 1 in 5. That's what I've got. Like, I had a feeling this was going to be on your list.
It deserves to be here for this reason. It's a very loose simultaneous action because it is mainly just for turn order. But, I mean, it's important.
Sure.
So my number 5 is the Stonemaier Games Between Two Cities.
Beautiful.
Having played a fair amount of Seven Wonders by the time that Between Two Cities came out, what I found was that it felt like a lot of the time that I was building my civilization in Seven Wonders, I'd spend all this time like making sure that I had enough resource production. And then in the third round, I'd either still be missing something, or I would have spent so much on getting my resources that like I didn't use half of them. Mm-hmm. And Between Two Cities, because you're just drafting the tiles for your two separate cities, each one has different scoring, but I'm not spending all the time thinking about the strategic decision that ultimately is not going to be nearly as significant as I think it is going to be, because it's just a simple scoring mechanism that I need to figure out. I also really like that per the title, you are between two cities. You are full co-op with your neighbors. So when you have some players that are better at it and some players that are not as good at it, you scatter them around the table, and then the good players are only going to do well if they can help out their neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really great game. I talked about it in the honorable mentions. I can say it here at least as well, of that idea of you are doing two simultaneous drafts and figuring out what is better in my hand in each of these cities. It's funny because it is full co-op with those two players, but you're also still competing against them, because if your city is the highest points, then whatever your other one is going to determine which one of you win. And so there's this fun like, oh yeah, we're great. Why are you betraying me? It's so fun. Yeah. It has really great mechanisms, and it just flows. That was one of the first 7 people games that I played. Like, yeah, this works. This works super well. I do think the Capitals expansion is fine. I actually prefer it as base game, but I'll play it drop of a hat. My number 5, I'm not going to cover too terribly much on this because I couldn't reasonably do this list without putting it on here. It's the 2013 game Antidote. This is from Bellwether Games. Dennis Hoyle designed it. It is so good because literally the game is simultaneous selection. It is, okay, everybody pass a card to your left or right, and then everybody chooses, what card am I passing? It's not a draft, because you already have the cards in your hand. Is it, you know what, instead of doing that, this is the one moment of, Scott, you and I are going to trade a card. You don't want to with me? Fine. Derian, would you like to trade a card? And you're able to control this information, or you're playing the everybody play a card onto the table. And your goal is to figure out what antidote is not in the deck. If you are able to figure that out by the time you only have one card left in hand because that's the antidote you're drinking, then you can survive. What's so cool about the game is that you can play it fully cooperatively. You can be super friendly of, you know what, I'm going to slide some X cards your way so you know what it's not. And then you can pass those cards and that person can be a super jerk and just be like, nope, you're not going to know this. But because of the way information travels and the way that information appears on the table, and you have the syringe cards, and you have the various other bits, there's enough good ways that you can literally have people play this co-op, semi-co-op, and just straight out take that simultaneously and have the game still function perfect. It can be a little long, and you want more players than less. A lot of the extra features in the box, leave them. I don't ever play this for points. It's not fun for points. But Will I Survive is so much fun. And the expansion allows you to play with 9 people, and so that's one that it's a small deck of cards. It is super fun. It's super quick. It's great. I couldn't not put it on the list.
It's why it's on my number 3.
Yeah.
Because especially games that I've had so much fun playing, Antidote has always been one of those that has showed up at your table when we've had 7, 8 people, and we're all just like, I haven't seen 2 of them, and everyone's like, oh God, we gotta get Scott information.
Or you have that other player like that has it, and they decide, nope. But you can have people like, I'm going to play my syringe card and steal that. And now, hey, Scott, on a future turn, would you like to trade with me? There's so many ways around it. So,
yeah, it's a fun game.
And it's also terribly cheap. Number 4.
So, if you end up listening to the odds and ends of the episode, you're going to hear this one, because my number 4 is the 2022 game from Adam's Apple Games, Planet Unknown. I really, really enjoyed it. I think the idea of the Lazy Susan to pick up parts is insane. And I think my favorite part about it is you could try to play it as a take that. Like, I could sit there and try to set up stuff so that, like, I give you something that's worthless to you or it's going to be really hard for you to use. But then I'm going to make my own game suffer, so why would I do that?
And chances are, in a higher player count game anyway, you're going to end up giving somebody exactly what they need in the
Exactly.
process. Yeah.
I love running around with the rover. I love trying to get all the stuff going. It's a phenomenal game. And plus, Lazy Susan. There's not very many games that use a Lazy Susan as one of its driving forces for piece selection. And I just sat there and went, that's impressive. Absolutely. I really, really enjoy it. So if you want to talk any more about it, since this will be actually part of the main part of the episode.
Yeah, no, I think the only reason it didn't make my main list is that once you've made the selection, everything kind of stops as far as player interaction.
True.
And the game is quick. It's super fun. It's fun to see what people's asymmetric planets look like and all the things. But at the end of the day, for me, I want more interaction out of this particular mechanism. I feel like it's really, really good. And then now I'm playing by myself.
The year that we met, you declared to me that you did not like roll and writes.
Yes.
And this changed that.
Only thing I can think of is on tour.
Oh, yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, it's shared misery.
Oh my god! I got one right! Hey, guess what? This is also on my list.
It's Shared Misery, the board game. I love this game.
Yes. So for those that don't know, you're trying to take your band on tour across the U.S. You roll the dice. You need to, and it's a D100 effectively. You need to play both combinations of those two D10s, and then there's some control in terms of like where on the board you can place them. So you can end up where I need that 71 on the east, but it's only a south and a west, and like I needed to play that.
You have one person's like, I need a 56, I need a 56, I need a 56, and the other person's like, anything but a 56 will be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time.
Oh, if it weren't for the fact that I had intentionally kept X and rights off, this absolutely was on. I cut this from my list because this is such a perfect game for this. Again, if we're looking for social interaction, on tour, despite the fact you have no interaction on the other players' boards at all, you are so invested in everybody else's disasters because you're just like, well, I guess I'm not going to the Southwest this entire tour. Bye. And you just like,
I don't need Arizona.
Yeah, it's such a good choice. I still don't particularly love the genre. It's not one of my favorites, but since 2019, since this game, I have found probably a dozen that I like. So yeah, this one, great game. I love that we talked for your pick. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, it's totally fine. Because honestly, this feels like a shared game between the two of us. And
it's very fair.
That's why I put it up on the list.
So my number 4 is definitionally Push Your Luck game. But without the simultaneous action selection in the 2005 game Incan Gold, there is no game. It is, who do I think is going to challenge me? Who is going back into the temple? Am I going to be able to get away with something at the end? The Push Your Luck is great, but that simultaneous flip of go in or go out, that's the game. This is the lightest thing on my list. But again, it had to be here because at this point in the list, I really had to start weighting based on how influential is the mechanism and how much do I enjoy the game. I don't really like Push Your Luck. And I will push my luck until I run into a spider's nest in this every single time. I don't come out of this game with a lot of gems very often, but man, do I think it's super fun.
I've never played it.
Really?
That was really loud.
It was. I was surprised it came out that loud. I'm going to have to go buy that new version, and we're going to play it. You will love it.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Number 3.
We already talked about it. It is the 2013 game Antidote. It's a fun game. It's phenomenal. It's small box. It's relatively inexpensive. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Yeah, you could play to be a jerk, but like most games, I prefer cooperative, and it's just a neat player interaction. I remember sitting next to Courtney the last time we played, and she just looked at me, she's like, I already know this, Scott. And I'm like, sorry? I traded this to Natalie. And I'm like, cool, it came to me. I didn't know. I wanted to be sure you were alive.
Somehow information that you think is like, all right, I have sent it all the way to the other end of the table. How is it in my hand again?
It's hysterical. So yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time. What you got?
Another Stonemaier Games game.
Okay.
Shock.
Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest.
Yeah. I'm a little mad at myself I didn't put this on the list.
It's so much fun. It's really accessible to new players because while there are 40 cards in the deck, there are only 6 that come out at the beginning of the game. Each round adds another 6 and another 6. So for that first round, you only need to consider the interactions between those 6 cards. You will have leftovers from the first to the second round. Mm-hmm. So you have those extra 6, and you need to think about the interactions between those 6, and that could happen if anyone happened to hold onto those cards from the first round. It builds nicely where you don't have to know the whole deck because not all the cards are going to be in play. Mm-hmm.
And just the way the cards are going to interact with each other based on the cards that have come out, they're going to feel very different based on any particular situation.
And then you add in the whole loot tiles, and you could have a day that's all poison, and no one wants to take any of it. And how do I get out of taking it?
And there's a lot of cabin boys all of a sudden. Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
no
arguments.
This game is phenomenal. It's such a good game.
So my number 3 is from Druid City, their 2022 game, Tidal Blaze Banner Festival. I love Banner Festival, and yes, technically this is a trick-taking game, but it is really, truly action selection because it is all relative to each other. Because depending on what quadrant of the board you're in is going to depend on the strength of a particular color in the deck. And so there is this really, really great moment because if you win, then you get to move your jet bike. If you are in the bottom, you get to trigger the card power, and if you are in the middle, then you get to play some area majority stuff. Really excellent game. But what ends up happening, why I love it for this mechanism, and why I had to put it right here, are those moments where you are playing the doublethink and trying to think like, okay, based on what I have in my hand, I really think I can get away with being last because I really want the power on this card. And then somehow 2 people will come in underneath you. It's like, wait, what? How did I end up in this position? What? It's so cool. And it is gorgeous. It's Mr. Cuddington artwork. It is from J.B. Howell and Mike Mihalsic that I have enjoyed their other games as well. It's such a good game, and it's so underrated. But that tension, even though it is in the most technical sense a trick-taking game, I really see it as simultaneous action instead. I really love this game.
Yeah, phenomenal game.
Yeah, you like it, which is surprising me because of how much area majority is actually a thing in the game.
I think it's because of everything else that's in the game.
Number 2.
Yeah, so we already talked about this. This is, the board game tables / all play game from 2019 on tour. I love the whole idea of shared misery of the board game because you're just like, cool, got a 35 and a 53. Awesome. If you roll doubles, you get to put the stars out because that become wild. But you only get 1 wild. But still,
and everybody breathes this sigh of relief. Oh my god, thank God!
Thank you so much.
Yeah, but those cards, I needed it in the east.
And then you have the no, I don't need a star here. I need it over there.
Yeah, it's in the wrong zone. Yeah, it takes a little long, but it's just fun to be like, well, I made it to 7 cities. Wait, 7?
Yep.
How'd you only get 7? Well, this is where you landed us.
So Libby will never be on the podcast because she doesn't care about board games anywhere near enough about this. But she loves on tour.
Yeah.
And she set what I imagine has to be the high score. She got 56 points in a single round.
Wow.
It was bananas. I have the picture of it somewhere on my phone. I'm like, how did you do this? And I have never, again, seen anybody get anywhere close to it. But yeah,
for reference, there's 35 states on there?
Something like
that.
And
if you
have to star in and circle them and do it.
You circle it if you play one of the states that's on the card.
Yeah.
So you would have to have...
It was almost perfect. It was insane.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
I get good scores in that game.
Good scores
upper 30s.
Low 40s.
Yeah.
56. Wow. Don't know how she did. I do. I have the picture. I can see the map that she did, but it's incredible.
What you got, sir?
So for my number 2, I did not see it in your played game, so I'm really curious about this one. It is Orléans.
I have never played Orléans.
And
I want to, but I am so bad at bag pulling games. See an earlier entry.
This might be the game that gets you to enjoy a bag drawing game.
It is already too late because Wonderlands won't do that.
Okay. Yeah. God,
I really love Wonderlands.
So instead of this one mixing bag drawing with press your luck, it's bag drawing with worker placement. Mm-hmm. So you start out the game with 4 different ones already in play, and then you play on your private board, and you need to go ahead and play generally 2 or 3 of a very specific type of worker in order to activate that. And then you can go ahead and get more workers and add to your bag. As a result, you can get unlucky, and you can draw out just not the combination you needed to be able to play this turn. But you can still play the ones that you got out and cover some of those spaces so that you're not going to block up your intake for the next turn, and you're still going to draw more out the next turn, and if you have them in your bag, then eventually you're going to get that combination. The game plays 18 rounds, so generally speaking, if you didn't get quite the right combination to play that particular action this turn, that's okay. Like, you might have a turn where you don't get to play any actions, but that next turn, you've got several partials already set up, and you're going to be able to have a really big turn. You have very distinct different types of workers. Some of them go ahead and upgrade them so that you can block out one of the worker placement, so you don't need that particular type of token anymore. You can go ahead and get monks, which are the wilds. They also activate special places. You can go ahead and get extra buildings that only you can access.
What's kept me away from the game is the bag drawing, but also due to the weight and length of the game, I always looked at it as, all this. Because there is a game from maybe around the same time, maybe a couple of years, I think it's like 2016, called Hyperborea, that used a similar idea of you're going to pull cubes out of your bag and that's going to let you do whatever your particular worker is going to do. And that one went so badly for me that it kept me off of Orleans. But if it really is what you're saying, I think I might actually enjoy it, especially the mark of 2025. So I would happily play this with you.
And again...
And I know there's a co-op expansion, right? Yes?
I think so. The version that I played was by I think they're now essentially defunct, Tasty Minstrel Games.
Well, it's because the owner died.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
now published by Capstone Games. The printing that I have is the 2 to 4 player. They added a 5th player expansion. Now that's just included in the box.
Sure.
And then I think there's 3 different expansions. And I dusted this one off, and I had replayed this one specifically doing the research for this episode, and really ended up enjoying it. And it has me now thinking about going ahead and trying to get some of those deluxe tile upgrades so that instead of pulling cardboard out of the bag, it's going to be some nice tiles.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, in 2015 is the Orleans Invasion.
Okay.
That is a full co-op expansion for the game. I don't know how it works. I don't know. But I would try this game.
It's so much fun. It definitely has some of those best engine building elements because you're adding more to your bag. You're able to do more things. You're drawing out more each turn. It builds nicely to the end game where you're really getting some time with it. And you mentioned a concern about the length of the game. Because a lot of the time is spent just drawing out those tiles and then how do I want to play it this turn? Kind of fitting with the theme of the episode. Mm-hmm. The fact that everyone is doing that same kind of, do I want to do this? Sure. Do I want to do that? Simultaneously, it does go ahead and make it pretty amenable. You also can run into some scenarios where you are not blocked from continuing to advance on tracks, but there's only so many of the different tiles available.
Sure, okay.
So you can end up in a position where, I can get another scholar, but there's no more scholars left. So, or like, usually what it runs into is there's one monk left. And so you look at whoever's first player, are you doing that this turn?
Yeah.
You can serialize it in those cases where you need to know, hey, am I going to have a chance to be able to play that action? But most of the time, you're not running into those scenarios. And I found that it definitely didn't feel like it was playing that long.
Yeah, I'll happily try it. So my number 2, I knew it was going to be on the list. I didn't know if it was going to be number 1 or number 2, and it ended up here. And this is the 1995 Area Majority Classic from Wolfgang Kramer. This is El Grande. I love this game. It's so good. And you walked out of our Why Did I Play This much more positive than I thought you were going to. I mean, it's also, we played a new version, which is actually pretty, which is nice. But it's also one of those games that, yes, there's too many expansions. You don't need any of them.
It also won the Spiel, and it was the year before Catan won it.
As well as should have.
This was a contender for my list. I have not played it recently, and I did not have a chance to revisit it. I probably could have played it 2 players with Henry.
It's actually really good at 2. It's better with more, but I do really like it at 2.
Playing an area control game with 2 players felt like not the way to experience the game.
That's fair.
And I think for what it is, I would encourage that. Yeah, there's a couple of fantastic mechanisms. I particularly like that, wherever the king is, like no one in or no one out.
Yep.
So then that way you got to go ahead ahead and think about where the king is and how you're going to manipulate that. And then you've got the Castillo, and how much do I want to spend on the Castillo? Because the guys that you put in the Castillo, they
will come back.
They're going to come back, and they're going to go somewhere else. So, like, how much is it worth it to win the Castillo? And then where can I put them that is then going to have influence in somewhere else of consequence?
This Castillo is simultaneous action within the game, because once everybody dumps and you score it, now everybody's going to hide, okay, where am I going? And then you have a secondary reveal in there. So there's actually multiple layers of it in this game. God, this game's good.
So I've had one, it was an enjoyable experience, but I was not in competition. And this is because I was playing with other people that had played the game a lot. And when you know the scoring phases and you know that, hey, if I can get the majority and then I can move the king into somewhere to lock up that majority for me and make it so that like I'm able to win by the narrowest of margins because no one else can get in there. There's some tempo to the game and knowing it. And if you play it with a group that all has a similar level of experience with it, it's a little bit less in your face with that.
Yeah.
And when you are playing against someone that really knows this game a lot better than you do, it can have some of those moments that really stand out.
Totally valid criticism of the game. But 30 years later, and it is not the game that everybody is playing, so it is much, much easier to find that group of, oh, you've only played it a couple times? Cool, let's go nuts. And if you really do want to shake it up, that's when you pick up one of the expansion decks of cards and bam, now we're playing this totally differently.
And I don't knock it that much for that experience differential. And part of it is how far it is in the background.
Yeah.
So I don't knock it too much for that. It's just that it is I think the one circumstance under which it can just really not shine.
Number 1, Scott.
So this is where I'm going to state a game, and it's going to make Mark very, very happy because I only got to play this game one time, and it was such a pleasant experience. Now, my number 1 game for Simultaneous Action is the 2021 game from Level 99 Games, Bullet.
Heck yeah, man.
That game...
didn't even think of it for the list. Oh my god, I forgot Bullet.
And this is one of your favorite games.
Yes.
And I sat there and I went, this has to be on my list because, yes, you can play this game as a battle royale, 2 to 4 players, because you're going to roll dice and...
No, there's no dice.
It's not dice. It's
pulling the tokens out of the bag.
Yeah, and so... But
shooting them at each other. I cannot believe I forgot Bullet.
I am so happy because also it also pains him. So I gave both things. So I've made him happy and I've also caused him pain. So in other words, I'm winning twice. Yeah, we played it in the boss battle mode.
Okay, so knock off smartphone. That's out. And this comes in just Bullet. I like Hurt the best. I'll play Star. I don't care. Bullet.
I mean,
great.
I
cannot believe I forgot that.
I can't believe you have it either. Because I was like, oh, maybe that's his number 1. Okay, cool. That'd be funny if we both had the same number 1. Okay, well, I don't know. But we did the boss battle mode, so we weren't trying to harm each other. That was so much fun. Yeah, so you are drawing the tiles that go into certain spots in your...
Your site is what it's called, but it's a big grid.
It's a drop-down game, so like, Tetris and that type of stuff.
The color on the bullet is going to tell you what column, and the number on it is how far down the column it's going to go. And you need to keep the tokens from hitting your bottom row. And if they do, that's going to cause damage to you. And depending on which heroine you're playing, you might have a health of 1. You might have a health of 5. You might be playing as, so long as it's not a particular color, doesn't do me any damage. There's so much variability. There's so much asymmetry. I cannot believe I forgot Bullet.
This actually makes me really, really happy. I remember because going through the list of all the games, and I sat there and went, God bless, this was a fun game. And it was more fun than On Tour and everything else that's on the list. As much fun as I've had with Antidote. And God, I've been playing Gloomhaven. I mean, Frosthaven since it came out. The moment Frosthaven hit my buddy's house, we started playing Frosthaven. We had gotten done with Gloomhaven. We were waiting for Frosthaven to show up. This is the creme de la creme for me for fun games that happen to have simultaneous action.
Yeah. I love it.
I cannot believe you did.
Can't believe I forgot.
I literally thought, oh my god, because we've never matched our number 1s. And I thought, well, this has to be on his list.
What's your number 1, Derian?
So it's already been mentioned this episode. It is a game that Mike and I, 2-player, have played in 15 minutes. I have played it 591 times on my cell phone. In that, I believe, did not save over from a previous device where I probably played it another several hundred times.
This is why I don't care for this game, because the people that know it will wreck you, and the people that are still playing it are the people that know it.
I play it against 3 hard AIs, and I win better than half the time.
You should say the name of the game.
Race for the Galaxy.
Yep.
It is hands down one of my favorite games. It has an incredibly dense symbology.
It is not beginner friendly at all.
So what's really fun here, and what's not in this episode, is the easy way to jump new players into the game, which is Jump Drive.
You know why I didn't pick Jump Drive? Because it was in consideration. Yes, it's all simultaneous, but so much of what you do, the other players don't matter. Yes, you may be considering like how many eye icons or whatever the greatest military is, but on the whole, nothing the other players do matter.
In Jump Drive?
On Jump Drive.
I will agree with that.
And that's why I couldn't reasonably put it on the list. But Race for the Galaxy, I'm just so bad at. I like Roll More. I think it's really interesting they both made your list. I think it's interesting you like Race More.
So it doesn't have the big tempo hits. Like, it doesn't have the recovery when you do something big. There's the 5 different action selections that you can pick from. 2 of them have 2 variants. If you pick development, you can reduce the cost of it, and then you can have half your tableau, reducing the cost or causing you to draw more. So you can end up building something really big and not take much of a tempo hit. What's really interesting is that kind of at that second layer of strategy of I can look over at Mike and I can see that he's got 7 cards in his hand. It's like, okay, he's going to settle or he's going to develop. I need to have some plans for what am I going to play when he activates that. So like maybe I need to explore right now, because if he's got enough to build something, I don't want to miss out on that. I also don't want to go ahead and give him something that he's going to need. So if I explore, I can get myself some build options without like producing and setting him up for a produce-consume cycle. So there's a lot of ability to go ahead and look at it. And because there is not the randomness of roll, you can go into the turn and you can say, here's what I need, and you can do it. And in roll, you can say, I really need to finish off this planet, I need to get it settled, and you can roll and have like just completely the wrong dice for that, and you just say, okay, I need to take a detour this turn. And I love the game for that, but in race, like because you can deterministically like play your turn, there's more ability to play off of the other players, because you can look at their position and have a better feeling for what they're going to do, and you need to figure out how you're going to respond to that.
Yeah, I think that is why I like Roll More, is that variance and luck of what rolled is more of an equalizer, whereas in race you don't really have that. Yes, you can have, especially in more advanced and high-level play, you can read a lot off the other players, but if you're behind, you're just simply behind.
That is true. I think it's even more true in Jump Drive, is once you get behind, like the game's over. It's done. The game is to 50 points, and by the time that someone, has just eclipsed you and now they're getting 30 Veeps, like it's over.
And the fact that Jump Drive is done in 7 turns. Like if you go beyond 7 rounds, something has gone wrong.
Yeah.
Also, I'm very happy that we got you to say Veeps. Finally. That is a very Derian thing. I've never heard anybody else say it except for Mike, and I know that's because of you. And every once in a while, it'll come out of my mouth. I'm like, ah, damn.
What do you call them then?
Victory points. I just don't shorten it.
Efficiency, man.
Yeah, I get it. Anyway.
That's what this whole episode is about.
That's true.
Oh my gosh.
All right, my number 1. Scott, my number 1 should be obvious. What is it?
Oh god, no. I don't know. It's a Veiled Fate.
No, it's not Veiled.
Well, he thought it was Bullet.
I'm so annoyed that you already said it.
Oh, Libertalia.
It's Libertalia wins a Galecrest.
Oh yeah, duh.
So Libertalia wins a Galecrest, like you said, is the 2022 re-release from Paolo Mori and Stonemaier Games. I despise the original game. I will still go back to the original every once and be like, I can't be as... And then I play it, I'm like, no, it really is as bad as I remember. I do not like the original. But what Libertalia Wins a Galecrest does is it cleans up the tiebreaker system. The reputation makes tiebreaking interesting because maybe I'm willing to just tank my reputation right now and make the extra money. You have the really fun end of journey scoring where, okay, everything that I made, locked in. It's safe. That's cool. That means that I am able to still take some risk and have some fun with my selection and know that I am not in danger of really going super negative. Mm-hmm. You have the infinite interaction of what cards are we seeing? What 6 cards now? What 6 cards here? What 3 cards did he carry over? Okay, I'm pretty sure he played his Broom, but maybe he didn't. And all the fun mind games. And then, just like you said, get into the loot tiles. There may just be like day 3, it's all curses and hooks. Darn. Maybe I'm trying to avoid that. The amount of replayability and the amount of choice and the amount of double think that is happening all at the same time as everybody's like, okay, put your card down.
And that saber mitigation is a thing.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's glorious. This is still my favorite Stonemaier game. I have been thinking maybe Apiary's better, and then I sit down with this and I'm like, it is incredible solo. It is incredible at a 2-player. It's such a knife fight at 2 players, and then it scales perfectly from 3, 4, 5, and 6. I have played this at every player count. I love it at every player count. It is such a stunningly good game, and this is why I didn't think about Bullet, because I'm like, okay, Libertalia is number 1.
That
And
makes
then
sense.
I started thinking about El Grande. I'm like, okay, there's so much about them. I'm like, but for me, Libertalia is still number 1. And I didn't even look at Bullet the way I should have. Because when it comes to Bullet, the real-time mode is good, but it's stressful in a way that a lot of people don't play.
Right.
But playing the full co-op against the boss, I can play that solo, I can play it 4-player, I can play whatever. I really enjoy it in that way, in a way that I think I probably undervalue the simultaneous action.
Okay.
But man, it's 3 years later, and I am still obsessed with Libertalia.
I don't know if it's my favorite Stonemaier game.
Let's put it this way. In the champion and ambassador emails, Jamie will put out polls, and every once in a while it's like, list what your favorite Stonemaier game is. And if there's more than one response, he'll list it. It is never listed when he lists out the results. It's me. I'm the one that has it as their favorite
You're the
Stonemaier.
.01.
I am the one guy. But man, do I love this game.
This is a great game if you're introducing new people to a Stonemaier game. Wingspan is definitely a heavy contender. Between Two Cities has a lot going for it.
I would say Finspan now.
Sure.
Because
Yes, I would
one of
think
the things that
Finspan's
we
better
see
for
about
new people.
Wingspan is it is so much heavier than people give it credit for, because I've taught it at so many conventions to so many people that are like, hang on, we do what now? With where and what? Like, I watched a family play the first round for 2 hours. It is a much more complex game than we all give it credit for, and in a way that Libertalia is, here are my 6 actions.
Yep.
Since I oversee the events, I see both ends of those groups. I've seen, the people that sit down with 5 players and can bust through like first game of Wingspan in an hour. And I've seen those that go the distance.
Yeah.
And I know that we budget 3 hours for our sessions. Regularly, groups finish in half that time. There's certainly ones that go the distance. Our Libertalia sessions consistently ran in less than 2 hours. We booked it as a 2-hour session. I think that's one of the reasons that it rates so highly on my list is I think about how many strategic decisions do I get to make, and especially in a relatively short amount of time. Like, I don't think that there's another Stonemaier game that has you thinking like that hard that often.
Especially in relation to that much direct player interaction. Apiary is right there as well because of the way the stuff worked in Euphoria for the bouncing. But for just I am making 12 decisions by playing one card, and then I have another set of decisions on which card got played, and then I have another set of decisions on which tile do I want. Routinely, I can teach and play this game in 30, maybe 45 minutes on the long end. It's snappy, it's quick, it's one of those of, okay, do it again.
Yeah.
This is absolute potato chippy.
It's one of my favorites. I can't believe I forgot it on my list. But the whole thing is I like where my top 5 are. I probably could pull out Planet Unknown and shift Antidote and On Tour to put Libertalia number 2.
It's so good.
We'd like to say thank you to Secret Door Games over at 215 South Main Street in Elkhart, Indiana. Since opening their doors in 2015, they've been dedicated to creating a friendly and inviting space for board game enthusiasts in downtown Elkhart. Their knowledgeable staff is there to help you find new ways to have fun with an extensive selection of board games, card games, miniature games, role-playing games, and more. Whether you're a seasoned gamer or new to the hobby, you're invited to come in, explore, and share in the joy of gaming with them. Open 6 days a week starting at noon, closed only on Mondays, you can make sure that you have a great time supporting your FLGS and getting to find Board All the Time recommendations while you're at it. You can also find them on their website, www.secretdoorgames.org, which will be in the episode notes. Thanks again to Secret Door Games for supporting the podcast. Next up, we would like to say thank you to our longtime friends and new sponsors of the show, Meeple Source. They've been supporting us all the way back to 2019, and we love getting to support them back. Meeple Source is a one-stop shop for all of your board game upgrade needs, stocking realistic resources, custom pieces for specific games, game trays, metal coins, playmats, promos, and all sorts of other accessories. You'll be able to make your games look utterly glorious. They also stock bundles of everything you'll need to upgrade each piece of some of your favorite games like Wingspan, Agricola, or Brass, and frankly, more than I could possibly list here. They also stock Geek Up bits if you're looking for the bags and acrylic tiles for all of those titles as well. So be sure to go to meeplesource.com/partner equals BATTG to let them know that we sent you their way and to make sure to support both MeepleSource and Board All the Time. The specific link for that is in the episode notes below, so go check it out and thank you once more to MeepleSource. Our final sponsor of the show are our friends from Victory Roll Cafe. A long time ago, a group of friends had a vision to create a space to combine all their passions into one singular dream. This is the culmination of those things. They brought together excellent food, specialty coffee, and hobby board gaming into one space that is entirely family friendly as well. With a dedicated kids zone stocked with games for them and a custom dungeon for those adults who wish to game in a more thematic setting, you can find a wonderful experience every time you visit. You can find their current menu and the listing of their over 800 board games available to play on their website, victoryrollcafe.com, and you can visit them Thursday through Monday, opening at noon at 711 West McKinley Highway in Mishawaka, Indiana. Thanks again to Victory Roll for sponsoring us. Look, at this point, we know you've been listening to a lot of ad reels, so we appreciate you sticking around. If you'd like to get a hold of Mark, Scott, Jason, or any of the theater geeks in relation to Board All the Time, you can do so by emailing us at boardallthetimegaming@gmail.com. If you just want to talk about an episode, or you want to give us a topic of the week, or you just want to say, hey, you guys are idiots, what is with your opinion? Reach out to us. Let us know. We're in the process of relaunching our Discord server, so keep an eye out for that. But you can find all of our episodes, as well as some of our bonus video content that we're starting to upload on youtube.com. We are at Board All the Time. You can also visit us at boardallthetime.com. And while we're still figuring out our social media presence, we are still available to be found on Blue Sky and Facebook. Finally, we would like to remind you that you can catch Scott, Jason, and the rest of the regular cast of Theater Geeks every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, playing tabletop RPGs, board games, and all other kinds of nonsense. So make sure to check them out at twitch.tv/theatergeeks. And now, get out of my ad spots.
Well, normally, this is where I would say, get out of my house, Derian. But, Scott, I'm going to let you do this.
Get out of our hotel room.
Aw.
What do you think? Anything out you? Nothing?
I haven't played it.
You have to keep that in. You now have a bleeper. You have to keep it in.